sponsor is the YPN Global Congress. It is a fantastic program that we're not hosting here in Miami. We do have our own Congress that takes place in November here, but this one's very special to us. We're actually hosting the conference in Dubai, and we're very excited to share this experience with everybody here today. It is only $150 to register before the end of November. That'll include the International Property Show, the Conference and Expo of the International Property Show, and then, of course, the YPN Global Congress. There are a few add-ons. You can go to a gala where they have a traditional dinner of the Emirati people. It's delicious. I highly recommend it to everybody to at least try. And we also have a desert safari. That'll be for the 15th of February. So if you're thinking about doing something fun, but wanting to keep it a little bit of business still involved to your Valentine's Day, the YPN Global Congress is on the 14th. It is a beautiful, romantic place, so I highly recommend you attending. And we will be also looking to nominate and award 3 people. It'll be for Most Influential Creative Leader, Best Young Professional Group, and YPN Leader of the Year. So we will be having a lot of great opportunities, not only to give you recognition if you are to win, but also the chance to network with global real estate professionals from all over the world. So you might be thinking, what do I care about somebody in India or China or in Australia? But the fact of the matter is, guys, is we are a global city. People want to invest here. It is a great investment to own in Miami. I'm hoping to own a piece of Miami myself here shortly. So, and as you've seen, property values will probably slow compared to years past, but still it's a sound investment that we continue to see year in and year out. So with that, I'm going to send out the invite one more time. And I would like to introduce our speaker today. We hosted him as part of a speaker spotlight a few months back, and he was gracious enough to come back and teach a full version of the class. So we have Yansey Valdes on the line. He's with Julie's Realty. He's pretty involved with Miami YPN. We are grateful to see him out at our events, and we're grateful for the insight that he's shared in other places. And I guarantee you that this will be a class that'll help you convert more leads in the long run, which is extremely important considering how much you pay and how many people pay for leads in the industry. So with that, Yancey, let me go ahead and give you the co-host status. There you go.
All right.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, sir.
I will unshare my screen right now. And with no further ado, we have Yancey on the line. Yancey, thank you so much for hosting today's class. We appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, Kevin, for having me. Guys, let me know if you see my screen first before I get into it. Yes? If you could put it in the chat, yes, then we will proceed. Okay, perfect. Awesome. All right, guys. Again, I want to thank Kevin for having me here. I'm really excited to give this class to you, which is especially in the shifting market we're in. This is more than ever important now. We're no longer in a period where, well, I'm not going to say no longer, but we're slowly shifting into a market where little by little, you're going to have to start inputting lead follow-up. It will no longer get to a point like, in a normal market where you're just getting a ton of people calling you on a listing like before, whether with agents or with clients. We all know lead follow-up is important. And this class is not only just to kind of go over the obvious, which you guys already know, the lead follow-up is important. I'm going to ask questions or give you considerations. I hope you guys jot this down so it helps you see as to why maybe you're not doing this lead follow-up. Just get to ask you more questions so you can implement this in your business. That's my main goal here today. Okay, let's get into it. So of course, I want to welcome everyone to today's training. Oops, the slide went a little bit faster. I'm going to introduce myself real briefly. My name is Yancey. I'm also a real estate coach and mentor. I am an active agent just like the rest of you here. So I'm not just coming from a perspective where I am not doing this as well in my business today. I hold a couple certifications which allow me, I guess, give me the ability to coach you guys, and I actually help agents strengthen their individual performance. And of course, I'm excited to do this workshop with you guys. If you guys want to, and I love connecting with new people, sharing ideas, or if they found any of this useful, or if they want to be ahead of the game for any other trainings I do as well. You guys could scan with your phone right there and follow me on Instagram. That way we can stay in touch. I'd love to hear like any successes or wins that you guys get from implementing or from any of the ideas that I gave you guys. Okay. All right. So let's get into what you guys already know. The concept of lead follow-up is pretty simple. You're either following up or you don't, right? It's not rocket science. We all know we're supposed to be doing this. The main key point of the questions and the considerations I'm going to give you guys today is you all know if you have intentions on being a producing and profitable agent, there's a follow-up system that you need to implement and put in action by yourself. You need to do it, okay? And the second part is, aside from implementing it, the most important part to it is the consistency in you doing it, okay? Now, we already know this, and that's why I didn't want to get into what we already know. Everybody knows that they should be doing lead follow-up. That it's a given. What I want to ask you guys, if you don't mind putting it in the chat too, is how do you define, I want to know maybe at least your guys' perspective. What is to you, what is a lead to you? And you can type it in the chat. I want to get a couple of ideas from you guys on what do you think a lead is? So Daniela put someone who's looking to buy or sell. Yes, good. Anyone else? Anyone in your sphere or prospect client? Okay, all good, yes. Listings, right, Alma, the best? Those are the best leads, right? A random comment about an interest in buying or renting. Okay, a potential customer, okay. So what I want to is give you an idea from my perspective, what a lead is. And the point of this training, what I really want you guys to get out of it is to help you define. I don't want you guys to just be any more, someone talk to me and they're a lead, okay? And the reason why I want to define and give you clarity in it is because hopefully with these considerations that I give you, it helps you have an urgency and motivation to follow up with them, okay? And I'm gonna get into those topics right now. Thank you, everyone who commented. All right, so definition, sorry, I keep skipping ahead, guys. Definition of a lead, or what I suggest for you is, and it can be a renter too, a lead should be to you a buyer, seller, or it could be a renter, whoever has a real estate need, who will enter into a contract in the very near future, okay? So contract meaning they're gonna sign a lease, they're gonna sign an offer, they're going to list with you, right? You wanted to make it very clear who is a lead to me, or what is a lead to me, like an actual lead. Now I put a time frame in there as well too, and this is the best ways for you to have the motivation, and I'll get into those points in a moment. But it should be someone within the month that I'm talking to. So when you're asking them how soon you're trying to list, how soon are you looking to buy, how soon are you looking to lease or rent, 30 days is a good time frame. And more aggressively, which is what I want all of you guys to be, especially in this market shift that we're coming up to, I want it within 7 to 14 days. And I'm sorry if I'm talking to you like coaching, but I consider this as a coaching session. I want you guys to consider a new definition of a lead for yourself as someone who has a real estate need that needs to be serviced by you within the month or aggressively within a 2-week period. Now I'm going to get into points with that in a moment. Give me 1 second. All right, so I gave you guys the definition. Now, for us, after the definition, I'm going to get into the process of working that particular lead and defining it and putting it into a system. But for you to do that, you have to set up a standard, right? And this gets deeper, but I just want to get into it just for follow-up only. Excuse me, I met a few people in. I want to get into it only in the terms of follow-up, but there should be standards and style for your business as well. All right. So what are your standards when it comes to follow-up? When it comes to follow-up, This is deeper. Like I mentioned, I could get into this in your business as well, but we're going to keep it on this. Okay. When you're talking to a lead, right? When you're setting up a system, when you're setting up a standard, you're going to talk about what you're going to do when you're setting up that standard, how you're going to do it, when you're going to do it, and why you're doing it. If your intention is to be a high producer, you have to set a definition and set a standard for yourself by asking those questions. And I like to ask every one of my coaching students, if they don't have any standards for themselves or their business, what kind of business do you have? You have that type of business that most agents fall into. This just fell on my lap. This person is talking to me, but they're not serious. I don't feel motivated to call them because they didn't give me any intention, or they just give me the runaround. Every agent just gets what's left over from the agents who are actually producing and closing deals. Is this the type of standard that you want for your business or for your follow-up, just in that aspect in itself? And I hope the question is no. I mean, the answer is no. All right. Also, aside from setting a standard, what's your style? How are you as an agent when it comes to your business, right? And to your lead follow-up. So we're going to put it back just only on the lead follow-up side. Ask yourself honestly. And these are, I hope everyone's taking notes, because I want you to think about this and jot this down for yourself. Have you been reactive or proactive in your lead follow-up? So today, what style have you set for that business? Do you want it to be reactive or proactive? And is this the style that you really want for your business? And I hope from these questions I ask from you, it gives you an aha for things that you need to start looking into your business to improve upon. Okay. Defining your leads, which now I'm going to go into the point, aside from giving you a time frame, defining them on points with it. Okay, let me move this around because it's kind of blocking my way. All right, here we go. Steps to defining your lead. Step one, which these are the recommendations I give, and I'll give you an example below. The shorter the definition you have for a lead, the more motivated you are to call them, right? So set that definition in your business. The failure to define your lead and what works for you will result on taking anything that falls on your lap, which is what most agents do. Once you've set that definition, clarify the people in your database that meet that definition. And you can only find, of course, everyone knows that you can only find for something that you're intentionally looking for. Third would be, once you have defined that lead and you've looked in your database, how many of those fall into your new definition of a lead? And you'll see that many of them don't. I'll talk to some agents and they tell me, yeah, I got about 20 leads that I'm talking to. Once you've defined that, do you honestly have 20 leads? How many of those are going to sign a contract within the new standard I gave you, within a month, within a 2-week time frame, right? Let's just say, as a motivation for yourself, let's say you set that new standard and you have, I don't know, 3 out of the 20, right? And I put here as an example, you multiply that lead by the average commission in your area, right? Where, you know, the price point maybe in Miami-Dade County, let me use my calculator here really fast, was about $475 times 3%. Times 3%. We're talking maybe between $12,000 to $14,000, right? These are people that from your new standard that you set, right? Like, I'm not going to say we disregard the complete 20, but since we set a standard and we're going to focus our energy on the 3 that had the ability to sign a contract, whatever that is, offer, list with you, rent with you within 30 days, you're talking about, let's say, $12,000 times those 3 specific individuals, $36,000. If you're not going to follow up with aggressively, how much more are you going to give that chance for someone else to follow up with them aggressively? Because you are following up with all your leads the same way. That those other leads that are bad are demotivating you and hiding you from these 3 people that are serious about doing so. So I'm not saying completely disregard the other 17 people, but you're going to want to follow up aggressively with those 3. The other 20, based on your conversations, get adjusted. But if they don't meet your new standard, you're not going to be following up with them aggressively. And I'm going to share why the ones you following or treating them all equally is what causes you to not follow up with the ones you need to follow up with aggressively. And that's a lot of money. If you think about it, you're like, wow, I'm going to give my commission away to another agent that was calling these people more aggressively than me, equally treating all the leads the same, all the leads that I didn't define. All right. Here's how I mentioned, undefined leads are not leads. Most agents have leads that are not defined, which lead to overwhelm and lack of follow-up. So again, they consider everyone that they just talked to, not knowing their motivation and their time frame, a lead. And what happens? Let's say you have, I'm just giving you a little number, but some agents have many, 50 of them. They start calling, I don't know, once they're to the 25th person that they're calling, oh no, I was thinking about it, I don't know, right? They're not asking the questions to find out if they're looking to do something within a time frame, very soon, a month or 2 weeks. So as they call them, they get demotivated because everyone's giving them the same answer. Instead of moving their focus, right? The initial conversation you all had with them, if all 50 of them, excuse me, if the majority of them were not ready, you put them on another nurture. But the ones that told me, yes, I'm ready to do something within a month, within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, pretty soon, my urgency and action is all going to be focused on those. Everyone else is going to be in it, in a nurture system. So since my attention, like let's say if you do it like a traditional agent where they're focusing their attention on all 50, those undefined leads are hiding my defined lead. My person that I need to be calling every day, they're hidden from me because I'm focusing on the majority of them. It's going to slowly diminish your urgency to follow up on them because you keep hearing, no, not now, later. You keep trying to follow up with people who are unmotivated to do something right now. It takes away your motivation. You keep hearing no, you get exhausted. You don't want to hear that, so then you stop doing it because you start automatically assuming because you heard a few of them out of the majority that you're following up on, you start to think all the leads are the same, and they're not. You just never clearly define them. And of course, just again, if you try to do too much, it's very difficult, like I mentioned here, to track and call all those leads who will not be moving in the near future. Is it easier to call 10 defined leads urgently, every day, consistently, and be on top of them? Or is it easier to call 100 of them that you don't know what they want to do? And that's where most agents fall in. And I'm going to jump into some of the reasons why they don't follow up, which I've already mentioned, but the biggest one would be fear. Let me admit this person. This is the part where the agents don't want to do. And this actually, the lead follow-up is going to expose more things in your business, more questions to ask yourself, which I'm going to get into right now. If most agents define their lead and stick to a standard, their fear is that they're not going to have many people to talk to or any at all. They're going to find out, wow, I talked to all these people and none of them have a need to do something right now. It's going to set off an alarm for something I'm going to mention now. You fear that asking their motivation, because if you find out they have real motivation, then I have nothing. The 50 leads that I'm talking to, leads before hopefully this class, is, hey, maybe sometime in the future, something. Once you've set, right, you set a definition, hey, I need them to be a time frame within a month, at best, would be within 2 weeks, but a month, right? Wow, none of these leads meet my standard right now. And then they stop. But it should expose you that because at the moment you don't have business, right? How do I get more business? That's a whole other topic, but that exposes you. Wow, I need to lead generate more. Because right now at this moment, I don't have anyone who's willing to do something within a month or within an aggressive 2-week time frame. I have nobody. And that should be another like a aha moment for you. Wow, I guess I'm not lead generating enough to have people to find that need to whether buy, sell, or lease within a month or within a 2-week time period. How do you eliminate that fear, right? How do you eliminate not having anyone to talk to at all? you have to commit to yourself to other activities, lead generation, a schedule for not only finding new prospects, however that may be, and to follow up with them as well too, like for this class for lead follow-up. Working your sphere of influence as well too, and your past clients, and defining your leads. That's how you're going to eliminate the fear of following up and finding the people that meet your new standard, because you're always looking for these people. And like I mentioned, this class was meant to enlighten, like, hey, okay, let me try this approach that this gentleman is mentioning. Wow, okay, nobody meets this new standard, right? This is a minimum. You guys could set it however you want. Maybe you want to make it 2 months, but I'm giving you my recommendation. Should be looking for someone within a month or 2 weeks. Okay, you look through your data and you don't have it. Well, wow, I don't have any new business right now. What should I do? And hopefully that sets off an alarm that you need to go look for new business as well. It's all like a snowball effect. All right, the reality of undefined leads. Lead follow-up is also the same like lead generation in the sense that it's a numbers game. If you could work the numbers in your favor if you focus on a defined select group to follow up on aggressively. And the truth is, the higher the quality of the lead, the less you have to work on it. And it is the truth. Hey, you have to work less on lead follow-up if you're following up aggressively with the group that falls within the standard that you set for your business. That's it. I don't need to call during my follow-up period a bunch of people that I'm unsure of. From my initial conversation, they go into a bracket. If they told me they need to do something within this time frame, those are the people that in my, let's say, hour that I set up for lead follow-up, those are the people that I'm focusing on. Everybody else gets put on a nurture until I have some time after I focus on my main one to speak with them and put them on some sort of drip campaign, email nurture campaign, whatever it is. And then you could touch on them in the future and see if maybe their motivation changed. But I'm no longer going to try to beat down and make someone motivated who's not motivated. You can't do it. And it's exhausting as well too. Undefined leads don't represent security as well. So someone says, I have 50 leads. That doesn't mean that they have any business at all because they never defined it, right? So an agent can tell me, I'm doing well, I got 50 leads. Well, are these people ready to do business within a month or 2 weeks? Right? As I ask further questions, like with someone I'm working with, I find out that 9 times out of 10, that's not the case. And everyone has the same undefined leads, right? You don't have to overprotect them. I'm pretty sure, you know, us as all agents, you'll be working with someone and then maybe if you didn't stay on top of them, they ended up working with someone else. It happens. That's why, because that particular person is just like, let's say, looking around, or if they're not ready. Unless they told you they were looking to do something within a month or 2 weeks or less, and you were on top of them to lock them in, they're everywhere. Do you really think someone who filled out some information and gave it to you online and you have them and you're like, oh, I have a lead. You called them, they didn't answer the phone, you left them a message, you called them aggressively in the beginning just to see if they respond to you, and they don't you think that that same person is speaking with another agent? For sure, because they're just looking around. They never showed you or you don't have any inclination to know that they're serious to do something immediately and speak with you. And that way you could put them on a follow-up aggressively so they do not have the opportunity to go to another agent, because you're going to start showing them your value. So I just try to tell everyone, until you speak with that person and you find out their motivation, not to consider them a lead, because you have to define them from that conversation you have. If they honestly tell you, yes, I was looking, how soon were you looking to buy? You're looking to do this within this time frame, and it matches your new definition of someone who's looking to do something very soon, you're not going to let that person go. And you're not going to let that person have an opportunity to possibly speak with another agent because you were too busy calling 200 undefined leads as well too. I hope everyone hears what I'm trying to say. Let me check the chat real quick. They ghost you, right? Sometimes. But again, you should take that as a sign of motivation as well. If you're lead generating with purpose and intent, you're not worried about if they ghost you, because then that shows their motivation. If you try to reach out in the beginning through different avenues and they're not responding to you, okay, then they must not be that motivated, so you shouldn't be spending so much time on them. And lead follow-up rules that I'm going to give you. Of course, when you're calling, if they didn't answer, leave a message, right? There's a study on the second point that I'm going to give, that it's being persistent in your follow-up. Here on this little course, I say follow up at minimum 3 times, right? But your follow-up at least should be, I was watching, it was a MIT study, that most agents give up after 1 or 2 calls, right? So I'm gonna give you an example. Like, let's say it was a for sale by owner. That person is telling you they have a need to sell a property. They have their hands up. Of course, they have objections. They don't wanna pay you a commission or whatever the case may be. But most agents just call them once or twice, take their no, or I'm not going to list as an agent, as their final answer, and let it go. This person showed you that they have a need. Hopefully through your conversations, you're trying to ask if you could get it in there when they were trying to do, obviously they're trying to do it now, but when would be ideal that they move, that they sold today, you know, that would be an indication for you to follow up more aggressively, because they need to sell today, because they need to move in 30 days. If they're like, they're testing the market, they don't know, and you ask questions, how soon, why were you selling, to see what they were trying to do, and their motivation is low, then there you go. That's your answer to know how persistent you need to follow up with them. But from the questions you ask, if you can pick up an inclination that they need to do something or have it done within a month, you need to be aggressive with it. All right. I would always suggest more than the 3. I just put it here, just at least for you guys to strive more than once, which is what most agents do. They call someone once, they didn't pick up the phone, they leave a message, and they don't call them anymore again. They expect the client to reach out to them again. If you can't set an appointment, right, you're speaking to them to sell, buy, meet with you, whatever the case may be, after the minimum attempt, then you could consider their motivation lower, and then you could adjust. So this isn't a person that I'm going to keep calling them 50 times and just keep getting discouraged and then pull them all together like these are all my leads and try to do this exhaustive task of following up with everybody. Just, okay, I guess this person doesn't want to do what they need to do. Their motivation isn't showing that. They're not trying to speak to a professional. It's okay. I'll put them on a nurture, and I'm going to go lead generate and try to get more people that need to do what they need to do soon. And of course, on every lead follow-up that you're doing when you're calling them, there's 2 basic questions. You need to sell, buy, or lead, and can we set that appointment in the next few days? Hopefully the next day, and hopefully the same day is the real goal. But every lead follow-up conversation, however the conversation may go, those are the 2 points that you need to get across. Do you need to sell or buy, and can we set an appointment in the next few days? Now, that was a quick little overview on it. I hope you guys jotted down, because I wanted my main point across on this lead follow-up concept to help you guys, like to make sure that you're motivated to do it and stay consistent, do it, was to clarify it for you. I guess a takeaway I would tell you all you guys to do today right after this class is look into your database, and even like maybe the people you just recently spoke to that are not in your database yet. From the information I gave you earlier, set that standard. Say, hey, you know what? Maybe mine is too aggressive for you, and that's okay. Like, you don't have to take exactly how I'm putting it. Let's just say you put it within a 2-month time frame, and aggressively for you is someone who wants to do it within 30 days. Not so aggressive, 60 days. Whatever the standard is that you want to set, that you feel comfortable with. Go through the people that you're speaking with right now first and see if they meet any of that standard. Hey, is anyone looking to do something in 2 months, more aggressively, 30 days? If they don't meet that standard, they're not as motivated as you need to be following up aggressively with them. Then go into your database. If you have a database of several hundred or hopefully thousands, it may take time But hey, you know what? Let me start reaching out to this database, going back into it, speaking to everyone, and just trying to see where they are exactly. And the people that give me an indication that they want to do something with my new standard is who I'm going to give my most energy to. Everybody else gets on a nurture. And so once I'm done with these people, I'll come back to you guys. Obviously, you never let them go, but you start first with the people that are motivated and then move back to everyone else. Do not treat everybody exactly the same on your leads. Like, they are not the same. Your focus needs to be on someone who needs to do something in the near future. And if you don't have anyone, if you don't have anyone that meets that criteria, that should be a light bulb going off saying, hey, maybe I need to get more people that fit this new criteria by lead generating. And that's a whole separate other topic. I have some questions in here.
Gustavo has his hand raised while you're reading through the chat.
Okay, sorry.
And I can read through the chat too. I
Yeah,
can help.
sure.
I'll do that. But Gustavo, while I read through the chat, what is your question?
Yes, thank you. What software applications do you suggest that, I mean, in your experience, that are
Yeah.
the most successful ones to follow up with, or to put the database into it?
Yeah, so yeah, no, absolutely. And I'll go ahead. My thing is that no agent is exactly the same. So I guess it kind of sounds like repetitively, I've heard this, but everyone says use a system that works for you. And the reason I say this honestly is, like, for example, where I'm at, we have a CRM system. However, I don't want you to say, hey, use this system because this is the best system. Well, maybe it's the best system for me, but not for you. Literally, I've seen agents as well too who don't like too much technology. They'll grab an Excel spreadsheet, and just from the conversations they've had, they'll be like, anyone who's actually within my new standard for a lead that I set for myself, they're gonna go in this Excel spreadsheet. Name, number, and email. That's it. Everyone who's on this Excel spreadsheet is someone who's motivated. So as I add them in there, right, whatever your standard could be, my standard is within a month, aggressively 2 weeks. That, like, I have a CRM, so it doesn't fit this what I'm explaining to you of like a CRM system. But if it works for you, if you're like, hey man, you know, all that stuff is complicated, I don't know how to use it, or I'm not inclined to learn it, then make it easy for yourself. Use a spreadsheet, use a Word document, I don't care. Everyone who goes in here, or once I speak to them and I know that they need to do something within 30 days, within 2, this list right here, every day I wake up, I'm gonna aggressively contact them. Like, not to have, that's another thing too, guys, not to feel like you're bothering someone. Anyone, if you ask them to sell something, if I go, hey, can you sell this cell phone for me, just as an example? Why would I want to have a professional, like, let's say a phone salesman? Hey, do you think you could sell this? Like this, like, yeah, you know, Yancey, I think I could sell it. Like, let me, maybe I'll ask a couple of friends if I could sell this. So, I mean, I'll ask and see. I don't want to bother too many people. If I ask anyone to sell that, nobody will want a professional that sells their phone like that. They want them to be ultra aggressive. Like, I'm going to go out and talk to a bunch of people and get this phone sold. So if you're coming from that perspective and heart, why would you feel that the person is going to feel bad of a professional like that? Like, oh, I'm being too pushy, I'm being too annoying, you're showing them that you're going to be the professional that they want. And that's a mindset issue that I don't understand why agents feel like they're being pushy or annoying, because they know that this person needs to do something within this time frame, and they're showing them the effort, the professionalism, the follow-up, like, I need to do this and I'm the best person to do it. And I'm not going to let someone else who's not as serious about their business or not as helpful as I am take this from me, right? That should be the mindset. But I tell you, Gustavo, whatever the system that you want to use, I don't know if your firm provides one or if you're looking at one, look into a couple of them, but just pick one that you like, that you know will help you. Hey, this system will help me define who these people are, right? Like, I'm able to find them clearly, so I'm able to follow up with them consistently. There is no one that's the best for everyone. There isn't, man. Everyone operates their business differently, and that's okay. But whatever you feel, even if it's as simple as a Word document, an Excel sheet where you could just put people in there who have a need to do something right now, and that works for you, my friend, then please do that.
Okay, the next question is from Alex Acker. Alex, we probably will need some more clarification to this question. But you say 3 times at the same moment, no, within a couple of days.
Yeah, it should be like, hey, you called them today, then if they didn't pick up or whatever tomorrow, like you just follow up with them aggressively. If they said, hey, yeah, we're looking to do something, before the end of the month, just to give you an example, right? An agent will do this. Hey, I'm looking to do something, but like not today. I was looking maybe at listing at the end of the month. And then the agent will literally try to call them at the end of the month. Big mistake. You should be calling them every day to set an appointment soon, meet with them as soon as possible, give them the presentation and list them. Now, if you write the listing, it could start at the end of the month, but you want to get in front of them and get them to commit to working with you now, not until the end of the month where more agents come in and make it harder for you. But it's every day. You don't call them consistently back to back like a stalker or something. No.
Right. Okay. The next question is from Lawrence. That person asked, do you have a system that you do? I'm assuming it's referring to probably one of your last slides. This was at 1:29 p.m. before we asked questions.
Yeah, like a CRM. Yeah, like we have a CRM system that we use here. So if that's what he's referring to, yeah.
Which one?
So whatever you guys want to use as a system, it's particular to each agent. Some agents like very sophisticated systems. Some need a very simple system. Everybody wants it to do certain things, and there's a plethora of different systems. But even something as simple as an Excel spreadsheet, a Word document, just something that you could keep in front of you, where you could keep track of everyone that you need to speak on very consistently because they need to do something, works just as well.
Okay, the next question is by Jocelyn. So all the lead generation methods that are in the market, Zillow, Rental, Beast, etc., are not worth it. If they do, how much do you recommend to invest in and on that?
Yeah, so Jocelyn is no, you're confused. I'm not saying none of those methods are worth it. I'm just saying from those people coming in, for example, right? Like if you're on a lead generation system, like let's say Zillow or something, not all the leads that come in, right? They call you are gonna be like, I'm ready to buy today. Okay, and so if they're not ready to make a financial decision, if they're not ready to get pre-approved within a 30-day period, right? Like let's say, at least for me, if they're not ready to do that soon, then I have to place them on a nurture. I'm just not gonna call, which is the point. Once you speak to them, wherever they came from, whether you generated it yourself or you used another company to give you the lead, you need to define that lead, have that conversation. Do they match what I need them to do right now? And if they don't, they get put in another bucket. But my main bucket is who needs to do something within a 30-day period. So that buyer, is he really to get approved and ready to make a purchase within 30 days? If that's not the case, then they get put on a nurture. So, and of course, like let's say, hey, Yancey, I only got one Zillow lead in a week. Well, that's going to expose your business. This is what I'm just saying. Hey, I only had one person that came in and that person's not ready. Okay, they're in a nurture. I'm at 0. What else am I doing? That's the next question that you should be asking yourself. How do I get more so I find people to fit my box that I need, this bucket that I'm trying to fill?
Yeah, I ask myself that question all the time. The next question is from Nick. What are your thoughts on Facebook Marketplace for lead generation?
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. I'm not against any sort of lead generation. At the end of the day, you want to be in conversations with people about real estate through whatever means, whether you paid for it, whether you cold call, whether you door knock, whether you use Facebook Marketplace, whether you do ads. I don't care what you do for lead generation. All of them work. There's nothing that doesn't. It just depends how consistent and good you get at that specific lead generation. But my point here is once you get them in? Are you having conversations to place them on what you define as an actual lead, which is someone who needs to do something within a time frame you want them to do? I gave you guys a recommendation, but I don't want you guys to treat it like this is the exact way you need to do it. No, but I'm challenging you to set it up. Now that I'm bringing these people in, however you do they meet this definition? And if not, they get placed in another system. Because I'm constantly looking to put people in this immediate bucket where I need to aggressively follow up with them. But I'm not against it, Nick. Like that's a cool lead generation way as well.
All right, the next question is from Lawrence. How many times do you talk to a lead that needs to buy in 30 days, 60 days, or 6 months?
Yeah, so that was my point of a standard. If someone needs to buy, sell, or lease within 30 days, I'm not waiting until, like, there's no point in waiting for them to get committed to working with me in 30 days. We can lock that up right now. So someone in my standard with, I don't go out too far to 60, but if they're looking to do something within 30 days, I'm speaking to them every day until I set an appointment and meet with them and get them to commit to working with me. Let them consider me annoying. I will wait, and it hasn't happened yet, because I guess it's the style how you come across it. But I won't let them get used by another agent because I failed to call. Oh, well, you told me in 30 days, so I called you on day 28. That's not gonna happen. I'm gonna speak to you every day, and I'm gonna find out what's important about committing to working with me in 30 days that we can't lock that up right now. And then we start in the day you want to start. But at least we got committed on a game plan right now. And you committed to working with me. That's what's important to me. I want that commitment. You want to start in 30 days? Cool. But we're committed to working together now. And I got that from you right now. 60 days, I would just say, hey, that 60th day person would be on a nurture, right? Hopefully, again, I use this with my CRM. It'll remind me, hopefully, to give them a call in the beginning. And if by that time I speak to them, they need to do something, right? 30 days pass. I set up a reminder. That means at the end of those 30, they need to do something. So if that conversation leads to that, they get placed in my new bucket at that moment. But they're not placed at a, hey, I'm going to do something in 4 months down the line. I won't aggressively follow up with that person every day, every 2 days, every like very consistently as the people are in my 30-day bucket. Everybody else is like on a nurture. I use my system to send me a reminder to see if I can move them along into my bucket.
Very good.
But 30 days, like the 30 days to make it simple is very consistent. You can set that up. Everyone's different. I like every day. Some people don't like that too much. They like every 2 or 3 days. It's up to you on that. But whoever is very soon, I'd say every day, or at least every other day if you feel that that's too much for you.
Cool. This next thing is more of a statement, but we'll pose it into a question because I think it's something that should potentially be touched on. Alma's experience with CRMs from brokerages, she says that that they keep the leads within the CRM and the database of contacts after you leave. And her argument is that's why she uses an Excel spreadsheet, because she can actually keep that. Is there any way of protecting yourself? Because it seems like one of her old brokerages had called a client of hers. Is there any way to protect yourself there? Or is that just a risk you got to take?
I think maybe that's just a question, like maybe with the firm finding out of what's their policy. I can't tell you that's the policy where I'm at. So, but if you're scared about that, right? Like if you don't trust anyone, or you don't, if you want to have absolute control over it, you have your own CRM, but you have to pay for it. If you prefer the Excel spreadsheet, which it's more manual, instead of having systems set up in the CRM to remind you and set it up for you to do your lead follow-up, Excel spreadsheet works is just as well too. But that's an issue or policy with the brokerage, not necessarily the CRM, because most brokerages that treat you fair let you download your list and delete it. But I'm going to give you something, like just something to consider. I mentioned on one of my other slides that all undefined leads are basically everybody's leads. As an example, if you help someone buy a home and they move into the home and they bought it and you finish the transaction, you have that client's contact, right? That in the future, they become a seller, right? right? That person in the future, you're like, oh, hopefully they'll sell with me. If you don't stay in contact with them, and that's my farm area, you don't think I would once, like, if you didn't do anything, get in contact with the seller and get their information and slowly market to them about selling and doing the job you're not doing? That's what I'm saying. Nothing belong. I would have the same information you would have. So even if you have that contact and I have it, if you're not nurturing or being in front of them or providing value, it doesn't matter that they're in your database. I'm going to get the listing. So you're still going to have to do work. I can literally download a list of my contacts and just give it to someone. And if you're not doing anything properly with it, following up, having conversations, providing value, you're not going to make any money from the list. So what are you worried about? And that's just something for you to consider. That person, I'm sure, has never, not ever, you know, Miami has many realtors, not met someone else who's a realtor. Like maybe they connect with them at the gym, right? It's, hey, this is a buyer I'm working with. I barely kind of know this buyer, but I'm working with them. Well, they need to move. They're leasing. Hey, they met another agent that they got cool with at the gym, but they hit it off or connected more than you did with that person. You don't think they're going to work with that agent? And both of you have the same contact info. At the end of the day, it's from the information of what you're doing. What are you doing to provide value and staying in front of them? At least for me, in my viewpoint, I don't see that, oh, someone from your brokerage called your lead, right? And you move somewhere else with they know who you are. That's just a random agent doing a cold call. Maybe the person will be like, oh, I don't know this person. You know, Alma calls me all the time. She sends me emails. She checks up on me. I'm working with Alma. I know her more than this random person who's calling. So I wouldn't be too concerned with that. But yes, if you are concerned, then the only solution is having an Excel spreadsheet or your own CRM.
Got it. Okay. Olga asks, what CRM system would you recommend?
Yeah. Like I said, it's particular to each agent. There's so many. It depends on your budget. It depends on your how much you like using CRMs and what features you want them to have. So I don't have a specific. All I just do say is, guys, use a system. It's a system. That's why I outlined it in the first thing. Use a system. Whatever that system is to you that you feel you're going to follow, use it. Look, someone else put their Boomtown below. Like, yeah, there's a bunch of them. I use Command. There's Sync. There's so many CRMs, KV Core. As long as you're using it to what you feel helps you and that you're going to stick to, I recommend.
Okay, so this next question is by Daniela. If she is to make a call to a for sale by owner, what should she have to say?
Well, obviously they're trying to sell the property, right? And your main thing is to try, right? The main objection here is that they don't want to pay an agent, but they're showing you that they gave an inclination because you saw the property. They're trying to sell it. In my experience, whether a buyer or for sale by owner, unless they're an agent or they're very sophisticated, most sellers and buyers don't have a clue how to go about the process. But they have a wall up, so they don't want to pay you. The main thing is just getting in front of them to show them that they can do better and make more money using you than trying to do it by themselves. That's the general conversation. I didn't want to go into a scripting class or whatever for role playing and stuff. But if you did follow up, I'll give you an example follow up, Daniela. Hey, yeah, we're not working with agents, whatever, right? And they're very quick to brush off the phone. Okay, I'll follow up with you, I don't know, in a few days. You call back. Hey, give them an answer that they wouldn't like to answer, right? I'm sorry, give them a question that they don't want to answer. Like, hey, just calling you back. Just wanted to make sure that the property hasn't sold yet, right? That's gonna at least pick them. No, it hasn't yet. Well, again, do you think it would make sense for us to meet? You know, maybe depending on each person, they'll keep telling you no. But if you're consistent, if you're not taking the no personally, they're just telling you no, not yet. And you keep following up, right? Hey, has the house sold yet? I want to see if we can meet. I'd like to show you something, right? I want to show you what I can do. Whatever, however you want to word it. Again, that's scripting. But you showing persistence in it, eventually the person will be like, hey, it hasn't sold. This agent is calling me. Let me hear what they have to say. And then that's a whole other thing on your presentation and a whole other story. But yes, your conversation should just be not taking it personally. Of course, they want to save money, but if you can show them a way that they'll net more, can we meet? How Daniela, how consistent are you going to be to keep doing that message without taking it no is up to you. If you're going to take it once and quit and hang up, then obviously then that's going to be your result. How aggressive are you? They need to sell. You just need to find out that motivation. Is it within 30 days? Are they just testing the market? Those are questions that you need to ask them and speak and find out exactly what they're trying to do. But if you do find out it's within 30 days and it hasn't sold, you need to be aggressive to make sure that they work with you.
Okay, the next question is, what systems do you use or ideas that you have to nurture people that are not ready to buy,
Yeah.
so that they are not neglected?
Yeah. So for example, in our firm, we use Command. And again, there's a bunch of different CRMs. All those CRMs have nurture systems. That's why I always tell everyone to use a CRM. It's very difficult to conduct business, do day-to-days, do a showing, all the things you need to do. And all these people that are in your nurture, if they're not set up on something that can be automated through your CRM, well, they'll get a touch from you, well, they'll see your picture where you're providing some value. They're going to forget about you. And you're not going to have the bandwidth to do that as well, too, in your business. And that's why I recommend using a CRM. So.
Very good. Based off of how you feel about calling, what is the best time to call clients to follow up?
It's whenever you want to set it up in your business. Everybody that I coach or speak to has different, guys, we're all different. I can't treat you all the same like cookie cutter. Some of you guys have jobs, right? Hey, I'm a full-time employee here, but I want to fit real estate into my life, right? I work 9 to 5. What's the best time to call? I would tell you, okay, the mornings, but maybe you can't. So let's do the second best thing after work, but at least you're doing it. So it's very hard to say an exact thing. It depends on you. Maybe you're a part-time employee, but you have more time to dedicate to real estate. Maybe you're full-time. That's a question that I need to do a one-on-one with someone to find out what's the best time. But whatever that time is, once it's clarified, it's set up into a schedule. And that schedule, you don't break it. You treat it like a job. So that question is hard to answer because I don't know how this person's day set up, if they're a full-time agent or part-time, or they have another job. I don't know.
I know people swear by the morning hours, but you're 100%
Yeah.
right. Okay, in your experience, using SMS or WhatsApp have the same or better results than a call?
I like calling, but if they don't, remember too, we're in an age too where if you didn't have the conversation to find out where the person prefers to communicate with you, I like calling. You call, you leave a message, and then I follow up with a text. If they start responding a lot through text, that should be a cue for me to just switch it up to text. But I like doing the call. I like reaching out to them, showing that, hey, I was trying to reach you. I find it worth my time speaking with you. It's very hard to speak to a seller and my thing, let's talk about all the reasons you're trying to sell through a text. It's going to take forever. So I'd rather speak to the person, listen to their tonality, ask them questions so I could jot it down, put it on my CRM, on their notes, anything. They have a pet, they have it. It's very hard to do that with text. However, if the person you speak to just always seems to respond to your text, then take the conversation there. But I would try to set aside from the text, asking them in the text, hey, when would you have a moment for us to really chat and me get all the information I need to know,
Very good. Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously that in-person feel with phone calls is important if they're open to it. But what about people who are not? So what SMS system would you recommend since more patients are ignoring and deleting emails without even opening them?
Yeah. So this is another issue too, that I get the emails. A lot of agents, blast. And this is actually you guys could Google this. One of the most spammed emails, people that disregard what agents do. It's like information that people don't care about. They just send out listings. That's why a lot of them don't open your emails, because all you're doing is just sending out listings, not value information, what's going on in the market, things outside of the market, but they just so that you're knowledgeable of the area, restaurants opening up, how to do this, how to do that, things to avoid, you know? They make it every week, it's the same email of like, here's listing. Call me if you need me to buy or sell, providing no value. Maybe if they point out a situation like, hey, why it's a good idea to get pre-approved before buying. Some people don't know this information. We think they know this, and they don't. Considering selling your home, try to avoid these mistakes before doing it. And that's working on your marketing. If you're sending out the same message every other agent is sending out, you're a commodity agent. There's no value to you. That's why they're ignoring it. The people will ignore, but they don't find value in it. That's it. These are even like more deep questions, right? As I tell an agent, let's say you're a buyer's agent. Today a buyer is empowered even before they talk to you, even while they're on Zillow. They're able to see what's available, what's pending, what closed, what value are you going to give me? And that's the part where they need to focus their message on, the value of working with you. Not, I can help you set you up on a search and all the basic stuff that they could do for themselves. That's why they're ignoring your email. You have to switch that message to a value-based message. Hey, you really should listen to or read this or see this, because I think it'll provide value. Once you provide enough value, their perception of you changes.
Does anybody else have any other questions before we shut down this class?
Yes, and thank you guys for your time. Sorry if I went a little bit long or something, but I really like to let everyone know. I hope they took messages on what I was mentioning. Just, hey, it'll greatly improve your business and let you see flaws and things that you need to improve in other aspects of your business as well too. Set a standard for this lead follow-up. And if you find out that a lot of people don't meet this standard, you have another problem, which is generating leads, which should never be a problem. And guys, follow me. I know, like I mentioned there, I love staying in contact with agents. Like any wins, like, hey, Yancey, I did what you said, and you know, this good thing came out of it or something, let me know. I was gonna pull it up here just in case they needed to get it. But definitely just scan that with your phone, follow me. And again, any future classes, since we're following each other, that way you'll be able to know about them as well. And thanks, Kevin.
With that, Yancey, thank you so much for your time. And one more time to everybody, we are hosting the very first YPN Global Congress in Dubai on February 14th. I have put the website in the chat. As of right now, it is only $150 to sign up. The most expensive thing will be your airfare. That right now is below $1,000. So if you are looking to connect with global professionals from all over the world, I highly recommend you click the link before you leave, the YPNGlobalCongress.com. We want to showcase how amazing our members are in Miami. You are world-renowned realtors to everybody else's eyes, and not only in the United States, but the world as well. And we want you to meet these people. We want you to connect with them and potentially bring investors and do business with them. So please go to YPNCongress.com and sign up today, and also sign up for the awards, because we are looking to bring recognition to 3 very successful realtors somewhere in the United States or the planet. And with that, Yancey, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Kevin.
It was great, and we'll try to have you on in a class here, hopefully by the end of the year.
Yes, definitely, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody. Be great.
Bye, everybody.
Give up on my way.